Me. Respect Mother Earth. Aspire to inspire. It's not an order, it's just a suggestion. It's all just a perception. I've been standing on the rubble, looking untroubled, still chanting down Babylon's rubble into dust. Trust, I'm enjoying it too. Always time for a cuddle, beg the wind to spread my love with every gust. Trust. It's kind of like an open letter to the entire UK. It's in response to the nationwide disturbances that we had last week. Now I'm neither condemning nor condoning the riots. I'm not making a political statement. I don't believe that the riots were politically motivated. I believe they were emotionally motivated, and I'm not really here to talk about the troubles themselves so much as the root problems of those troubles, because I think it's more efficient and useful to be solution based than problem based. So let's get to the roots of those problems. And speaking of the roots of those problems, in the words of Martin Luther King, there is nothing more dangerous than to build a society with a large segment of people in that society who feel that they have nothing to lose. People who have a stake in their society protect that society, but when they don't have it, they unconsciously want to destroy it. In the street it's getting hot, and the youths them get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, they'll do anything to fill that gap. Yeah, but why burn up your neighbour's shop? I know that you won't do what you're told. So I'm not telling the thugs what, just let the unfocused arms house stop. Why burn up your neighbour's car? You know that won't get you very far. The right wing want more control, you'd be playing right into their hand with continued fighting. It would be frightening, it's time indeed for revolution. But a riot is not quite the uprising. They want martial law, it's not surprising. But we'll have a revolution of the mind that's more enlightening. A change of priority from profitability to the benefit of all. Not communism necessarily, but community. Sustainability, where youths can play easily, progress natural abilities. We left them a polluted planet with seeming few vacancies. We'll teach them to plant food and trees, the wise garden all day for free. I'll speak from my heart when I get paid to speak, but here's a letter from my heart, from my page to the streets. If education is the key, tell me why the bigger heads that make it so expensive for we. You're your own key, set yourself free. Cause in the streets it's getting hot, and the youths them get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, they'll do anything to fill that gap. Yeah, but why burn up your neighbour's shop? I know that you won't do what you're told. So I'm not telling the thugs what, just let the unfocused violence stop. Someone to police state, cause we've got some irate teenagers. I say just round up the undercover troublemakers in balaclavas, leaving police cars long enough to burn for the media to make their point and make their news anchors look tough. And of course the ruthless opportunists who did JD Sports over bareface may or may not escape their days in courts. But this time next year I hope the youth have better things to do, community centre things to do, skate parks, people, GNVQ. I hope police and youths have learned people tend to respond to hostility with hostility, but two wrongs don't make a right, violence works inefficiently. Peace be the path, yes, I preach inner peace. I hope police and youths have learned even the biggest gangs can't gang up on an age 16 girl and expect nothing to burn. That's the jewel, that's the wisdom pearl. I hope police and youths have learned even the biggest gang can't execute in public and expect us all to suck it. 333 people dead in police custody since 98 with no witnesses or suspects. This world is crazy but I love it. I hope police and youths have learned people tend to respond to hostility with hostility. So peace to the thugs and love to police. Yes, love, no need to get hostile with me. They won't listen when we rampage, meditate, chill with me. The youth won't back down if you shoot them, but are you still with me? If education is the key, tell me why the bigger heads then make it so expensive for we. Give them the key and set them free. You're all your own key. You are your own key. You're your own key. Set yourself free. 'Cause in the streets it's getting hot, and the youths them a get so cold. Also, in the words of Martin Luther King, 'cause everything I could say has been said better and more clearly by other people before me. The limitation of riots, moral questions aside, is that they cannot win and their participants know it. Hence, rioting is not revolutionary, but reactionary, because it invites defeat. It involves an emotional catharsis, but it must be followed by a sense of futility. And for anyone who dares to whinge about their tax money getting spent on fixing the riots, and anyone who dares to support fascist methods of dealing with the issues rather than the roots of the issues, here are some figures that you might want to be aware of before you start spouting off. The highest estimated cost of the riots is £0.1 billion. Tax avoidance by Vodafone, that's £6 billion. Tax spent on Libyan intervention, £1 billion. Tax avoidance in 2010 by richest people in the UK, that's £7 billion. Taxpayers' bill for banking crisis, £131 billion. Rewind. Highest estimated cost of riots, £0.1 billion. Taxpayers' bill for banking crisis. This is how much the taxpayer bailed out the bankers who put us in the crisis in the first place. £131 billion. Tax money spent in Iraqi conflict, £4.5 billion. Tax money spent on Afghan conflict up until 2007, £7 billion. Total MP expenses bill in 2007, £0.87 billion. Rewind. Highest estimated cost of riots, £0.1 billion. So don't tell me that we can't afford to feed every person on this planet. Because if we can't afford to feed every person on this planet, why are banks getting 131 billion to bail them out? And it won't even work. Don't get me started. Don't. Just look at the roots of the problem. Put your heart and love first. See what the issues are. Why people feel so upset, disrespected, and feel like they haven't got a voice. And what we as a community can do to help those people, rather than demonize them and criminalize them and put them in positions where they'll be in less of a position to make something of their lives, and rather than putting them in a position which is going to make them more likely to rampage again in the future. Bless. I believe there are solutions to all the problems that we have. That the solutions are basically people putting love and community in front of greed and profitability. That may seem like a hippie's dream, but it's actually common sense. It's actually actually logical and actually helping each other is the best way for us all to live on a better planet, at least in a better country. Inner peace leads to outer peace, which leads to community peace, which leads to nationwide peace, which leads to world peace. If we don't start with ourselves, we can't help others. That's why I'm attempting to maintain calm despite my agitation. Stay blessed.